Let me introduce you to Julian, a man who believed his generosity was a sign of love, only to discover it was a tool of manipulation. His story is about how he turned a birthday ambush into the perfect moment for revenge. It was supposed to be my birthday, not a show. I walked into the restaurant expecting a quiet dinner, maybe a simple toast with my wife. Instead, I saw 35 faces staring back at me. Some I knew, most I didn't. She stood in the center of it all, beaming like she had won a prize. "It's just 35 people," she said, as if it were nothing. "Just 35. I smiled, a calm, careful smile that made her stop in the middle of a laugh. "Perfect," I said. "I'm going home. You handle the bills. I'm not your ATM." The room went silent. She turned pale, but she didn't know. The real surprise wasn't the bill, it was me. We weren't always like this. When I met her, I thought she was the one. She laughed at my jokes when no one else did. She held my hand through tough times. I gave her my loyalty, my trust, and my wallet. We built a home and shared dreams. I thought we shared love, but over the years I noticed the cracks. The way her eyes would stare at what others had. The way her voice became sharp when she spoke about money, my money. She began treating my generosity like it was something I owed her. My hard work became her right, and I, foolishly, kept giving, believing it was love until love turned into calculation. It wasn't just the party, that was only the surface. Weeks before, I found receipts hidden at the bottom of her purse. Designer bags and jewelry I never bought her. There were also bills from dinners with friends I'd never met, always paid for with my card. When I asked her about it, she brushed it off. "It's just money. You'll make more." That's when I understood. I wasn't a husband to her. I was an account number, a bottomless pit she thought she could keep draining. So, I stopped confronting her. I stopped warning her. Instead, I started watching the plan. I checked every transaction. I copied every statement. I tracked every hidden purchase until I had enough evidence to bury her in her own greed. Revenge is not rage. Rage is sloppy. Revenge is patient. I met with my lawyer quietly and efficiently. We changed the ownership of everything in my name, the house, the car, the accounts. I moved assets into places she couldn't touch, like trusts she didn't even know existed. I let her spend, let her think I was blind. All the while, I documented everything. Photos, bank statements, recordings. I even found messages where she bragged to her friends about how she could get me to pay for anything, how she'd bleed me dry if things went wrong. She laughed in those texts, and every laugh was another nail in her coffin. So, when my birthday came, I played my part. I walked into that restaurant, saw the 35 strangers she invited without asking, and I smiled. When I told her I was leaving her with the bill, her eyes widened. She reached for my arm, whispering, "Don't embarrass me like this." But embarrassment was mercy compared to what I had planned. I left calm and silent, while she scrambled to explain to the waiter that her husband would be back. He wasn't. The aftermath. The calls started within an hour, first gentle, then desperate, then furious. I didn't answer. Instead, I let the night pass. The next morning, I sent the first strike an email with one attachment, a summary of her spending habits with every receipt highlighted. I copied her parents, her siblings, and her closest friends, the same ones who once thought I was lucky to have her. By noon, her image as the perfect wife had cracked. She came home that evening, makeup smeared and her voice shaking. She tried to scream, but it sounded more like begging. "How could you humiliate me like that?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "You humiliated yourself." I just turned on the lights. I handed her the divorce papers, already signed and filed. Her name wasn't on the house anymore, not on the car, not on a single account. "You thought I was your ATM," I said. "Turns out the ATM closes." Her face twisted with fear, rage, and disbelief. She tried to threaten me, to take half of everything and ruin me in court. That's when I slid the folder across the table. Evidence. All of it. The debt she racked up in my name. The hidden purchases, the bragging messages. I didn't have to raise a finger. Her own greed was enough to destroy her credibility. The color drained from her face. The fight left her body. She sat in silence, broken, finally realizing the game was over. I left that night, not in anger or grief, but in freedom. She once told me, "It's just money." But it was never just money. It was respect. It was trust. It was the currency of loyalty she kept faking until nothing was real. Now the world saw her for what she was, and I finally saw myself again. On my birthday, she thought she could make me pay the price. Instead, I made sure she paid hers, and as I walked away from the ashes of what we were, I felt no regret. Only victory, only clarity, only silence.